Well, it can happen at any moment without any warning. A wrong-way driver on Maine's highways. It's a deadly threat, and now officials are testing out new technology to stop those drivers before it's too late.
Yeah, New England State already has technology in place to prevent these tragic crashes. And joining us this morning is the I-Team's Dan Lampariello to tell us more about this. And Dan, first of all, it seems like we do a story on this like once a month, that somebody on the turnpike or on the highway somewhere is going the wrong way somehow.
Yeah, you know, we hear about it. It's always very flashy when we do these stories because it's awful to see. They can turn deadly very quickly. And unfortunately, while the data we ended up finding, these crashes are relatively rare in Maine. We only average about one fatal crash like this a year. But you're right, we do, you know, I feel like it's amplified when we hear about them because it is such a dangerous situation.
And as a driver, I do think about it all the time. Yeah. And I think about potentially how easy it can be 100%. In certain intersections where, especially if you're not familiar with that intersection or hopping on the highway, that I've said this before, as I'm driving, I could see how someone might not realize.
I look at the Bucknam Road exit.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
That recently got reconstructed, and there's some new signs over there, which we'll kind of talk about that technology. But that's one where last year, I believe, there were 3 different instances where a wrong-way driver got on over there, and it's easy because the 2 ramps are right next to each other. It's not like it's a cloverleaf.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If it's dark and raining or something like that, and you're not familiar, I could easily see how someone could accidentally do that.
You get distracted, that type, and then add in impaired driving and all those types of things as well. It can lead to disaster. And this story came to us through our tip line. A viewer reached out to us. She was the victim of a wrong-way crash back in 2014, so almost a decade ago, or a little over a decade ago. But she wanted to see a push after seeing us cover more wrong-way crashes since then to have some technology in place to prevent them a little bit. I want you to hear from her, though, about just how scary this situation was and how it really happened in a split second.
I was switching the radio station. I happened to look up and see these headlights coming at me. You know, I made it out okay, but other people have lost their lives, and I hate to see that.
Have other states seen success with wrong-way direction technology and intersection?
They have. We traveled to Rhode Island last month. They were one of the first states to implement this technology, which is a combination of radar, cameras, and you kind of saw some of the video there of these wrong-way, do not enter signs that flash up. So if somebody triggers that technology, the lights will flash. If they keep going, there will be a camera there that captures it, and it sends an alert to the DOT's Traffic Management Center, and then they can get a state trooper out there or put a sign up on one of those automated message boards that says wrong-way drivers headed your way. And the incredible thing is Rhode Island's success, they've put this in 30 different locations. They haven't had a single fatal crash in any of those locations. So really the proof's in the numbers for them.
Was there any pushback, or was there any question about, the cost or anything like that?
These devices are certainly expensive, and I'll kind of get into in a second here about what Maine is doing. They're piloting some of that right now, that same technology, but then they're also going to just try to keep doing some of the light up signs that are a little bit cheaper but appear to be working. So Joyce Taylor, who is the DOT's chief engineer, kind of talks about why they decided to look at Rhode Island and where they're going from here.
I think there's a sense of fear when one of these accidents happen. People are scared, and trying to reassure them that we are taking some steps to try to help prevent the problem. Let's use some technology that we know is working in other states and just keep getting better at it.
Definitely.
And it does seem like it's working in Rhode Island. And so what are the next steps for Maine?
So the pilot program, they have it at 3 interchanges north of Augusta. So not very big traffic areas. But what Joyce has told us is that since they installed this late last year, they've seen people self-correcting on the cameras. So they go the wrong way, they see the lights flash, and then they turn right back around in the interchange, go back and go the right way. So success so far, only a few months, but what they're also doing is spending about $8 million over the next 3 to 4 years to put those flashing lights that are going all the time at intersections and interchanges all across the state. It will be at every on and off ramp on every state highway.
They should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure, the other thing too is people when they're driving, they have to pay attention. So many people are dealing with turning on, the music with the radio, looking on their phone and things like that. And that's another reason I think that people get on the wrong side of the highway.
Jeff, you're so right. And when we talked with both DOTs in Rhode Island and up here, they said, we can do this all we want. We can't prevent human nature. And sometimes people are just so distracted that they're going to blow right through whatever we have in front of them. But the more signs, the more things that we can try to get somebody's attention, the better an outcome it can be. And in Rhode Island, I mean, really, like I said, the proof's in the numbers. The fact that they haven't had a single fatality over those past 10 years is just pretty incredible.
I'm sure the woman that you spoke with, who shared her, harrowing story, would agree that if it prevents one crash, then it's worth it.
That's exactly what she said.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's going to cost money to get all this stuff into place, but if it can prevent one person from not being hit head-on in a scary situation like that, it's worth all the money in the world.
When you go down to Falmouth again, Buckman Road, when you see those lights, bright red and the lights flashing even in the daytime, you can't help but go, no, I'm not going that way.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
the signs are screaming, don't go this way.
And the signs are huge now.
Yes.
I mean, I remember before, there was like a little do not enter sign and all that. They've almost tripled the size of the signs, made them a lot brighter. And in some cases, they've even extended the curbs so you can't physically take that turn to go in the wrong way. So they're trying to do everything at their disposal. It's going to take a lot more work. It's going to be a little bit more work in progress, but it appears to be working so far.
Here's something else in the future, too, is to look at what went wrong with that entrance and exit, right? And see maybe in the future when they make more exits and entrances, not design it that way.
Yeah, it wasn't part of our discussion with DOT, but I know when we were in Rhode Island, that was something they were looking at. But in some areas, you just can't fit like a full clover leaf, for instance. Those interchanges appear to be the most less likely to have somebody go the wrong way compared to the side-by-sides that you have over here, say on 295.
Yeah, it's a really good point, though. Like, what else can we learn from
Yeah.
this and try to prevent them in other ways, too? A great topic, a great story. Where can people watch it?
Well, they can head to our website right now, WGMI.com, click on the On Your Side tab. That's where our I-Team coverage lives. And I just want to point out our I-Team tip line here real quick, too, because this was a story that we got from our viewers. That's what drives our coverage for our team, Marissa, Stephanie, and I. If there's something you want us to investigate, give us a call, 228-7713, or email us at tips@WGME.com. We read every single email and phone call that comes in.
And you follow up. You
do.
do this story right now, but then you're going to keep on it, and you have updates all the time.
DOT set a deadline for getting these on every on and off ramp. We're going to make sure it happens by then.
And it's great because your stories do make some of these organizations take action.